Hello, fellow travelers, and welcome to the next episode of Young Man's Perspective. This is your co-host Spencer,
And Marcus.
and today's topic is going to be gossip.
You know, this one is very hard to comprehend the ability it has to change your mind on certain things, right? Gossip, it's hard to avoid, right? Because when someone is being like really annoying and they leave the room, you're like, gosh, they were really annoying, right? And it's very easy to fall into this mentality where it's okay to talk about someone behind their back. And to a certain extent, that's true. But it's not at the same time, and that's what makes it so hard. You know, like, for example, if someone asks, who did this, right? And you say whoever was not in the room, you're talking about someone behind their back. But when you talk about gossip, for example, it gets the line is so thin that you can constantly be kind of like hopping over back and forth on depending which one you're doing. And it's dangerous. It's very dangerous because it grows. Just like we said in our previous episode. Vices grow if they're not weeded out very quickly. And with gossip, you start with the smallest things. You know, they did this, or they're not good at this. They're really annoying in this way. And so it leads to this whole thing where everybody agrees with you in the room about this one person. So everybody's doing it and you just join out of peer pressure.
Yeah, and I would say one of the biggest things, like you were talking about someone who is annoying. And generally for me, one of the more common things I found is, you have the easier side to see if someone who's annoying and the harder side. The easier side is obviously if someone's just straight up annoying, they're very loud or obnoxious. And then the more difficult side is the person themselves as a gossip. So that's one of those things that you got to watch out for. Because like you said, you can be jumping between the lines. And if someone else is a gossip and then you're gossiping about their gossip, that just makes you a hypocrite. So it's something that's very difficult that you got to watch out for, because otherwise, if you're talking about this person in a negative manner, which may be true, and maybe you're trying to warn people, but at the end of the day, it makes you no better than them. If someone asks you for your opinion on a certain person, you can give an honest opinion and be like, hey, personal opinion, I don't really agree or, like what this person does, but that's my opinion. You're allowed to form your own.
Yeah, and that's a very difficult situation to be in, especially if that person is your boss that's asking you. That's a very, because at one hand, you don't want to be that person who just throws your coworkers under the bus, right? But at the same time, your reputation of a valid word is also at stake. Because, if they're coming to you because they value your opinion on that, well, at least a good leader would, like, have you seen so-and-so doing this, right? You have to give an honest answer there. That's what makes this situation so difficult. But the best way that you can do it is to give the most unbiased account of what happened, right? No feelings involved. Did this person actually do it? Yes, they were performing that action. Yes, they did, right? You can't go into the characteristics of the person because that's when it becomes gossip. Talking about what someone did when you're asked is not necessarily gossip, but when you start going in like, oh, they're so mean, they said this to this person and all of this, it just turns into a messy business where your opinion is no longer valued.
Yeah, and luckily for like me at my work, whenever my boss has asked me about someone that we're potentially hiring and they ask, my honest opinion, and I'll give my honest opinion, but I also have a smaller place of business. So it can be really difficult for a situation like that where you're in a larger place of business, because if your boss is asking you for opinion and your opinion goes against the grain, or maybe your opinion conforms with the majority, even though the majority isn't true, perhaps nobody just likes this person. There are people like that that have spiky personalities. So that's also can be something that's very difficult to watch out for in gossip, is going against the grain or kind of agreeing with everybody in terms of having a valid character, I guess.
Yeah, and the most difficult part for me when it comes to gossip is this herd mentality a lot of people have. When one person does it, everyone can do it, right? And it is hard. Okay, for example, I have this guy that I work with. I've never met someone who's so good at being annoying. Like, he purposefully does things.
This is gossip right here.
Yes. Okay, but everybody, the moment he leaves the room, everybody's just like decompressing, and it's like, I can't stand him all of the time, right? And so for me, it was very difficult, and I recognized how subtle it was when immediately I would jump on the train, right? And I had to like remember, like, hey, bro, this is not okay. Like, I wouldn't want someone doing that about me, regardless of how annoying I am. So I had to really, reflect on that. And it takes emotional maturity to say, I'm not going to behave like everyone else is doing, even if they ask you, like, can you believe he's so annoying? What do you do in that situation, And it's very difficult, right? The simplest thing I can say is give a one-word answer. Yes, they're actually annoying, right? Just say yes, they are annoying, and that's it, right? Because now you've blown off, and you're not going to cause an argument with your coworker that's asking you, but you're also not involved in the gossiping itself.
Yeah, and me personally, one of the things that I don't really care for about gossiping is the whole mentality of it is really to break people down, and we really should be building each other up, right? That's how we grow as a civilization and as a society. Is we're constantly driving each other to new heights. So when it comes to gossip, like you were saying, if someone's asking you about a certain person, just walk away, don't respond. That, or maybe they're asking your legitimate opinion, you could just be like, like I was saying earlier, hey, this is my opinion and that's that. And especially like if the person themselves, that's the source of the aggravation, because that's generally obviously what leads to gossip, is that person themselves is the source of the aggravation. If that person tries to reach out to you and contact you, just find different ways to kind of extract yourself from a situation where they could aggravate you and potentially lead you to gossip. So just kind of remove yourself from the situation. And at the same time, though, if you're able to slip things in and try to help that person become a better person so that they stop being gossiped about.
Yeah, and that's another very difficult role. I'm the youngest person in where I work by 10 years, right? So my opinion means absolutely nothing, right? And so no matter what I say, the opinions of my peers would never change. And I have to recognize that and be okay with that. And I'm a very opinionated person.
Very.
Like, I'm extremely opinionated.
Yep.
And so it's very difficult for me to be like, when I know what they're doing is one, wrong, or it's not the proper way to do stuff, I want to say it, right? But I've had to learn to be okay with not having to state my opinion. And I think that is a very foundational principle that will get you out of this mindset or the herd mentality of gossiping. When you're okay with being different in a scenario and you're okay with going against the grain, you won't participate in it. But as long as you're constantly like, you need to be valued, you need to be a part of something, you need to be a part of the group, you will go back to gossiping because it's something almost everyone does. And so the power of the ability to be different is monumental. And I've had to learn it because I'm not normal in a lot of ways.
Nope.
And so, in the beginning, it was very hard for me because it's like, why can't I fit in? I really don't fit in anywhere. And I'm okay with that now. But it took a long time of reflecting, of growing emotionally and being mature about it to be okay with that, because you do want to feel a part of a group. It's a need for people. And gossiping is something that it takes such little effort to do that you end up doing it so much. And then, have you ever had that person that you gossiped about confront you about something you said about them?
Yeah.
That's an awkward moment.
Yeah.
Right? So don't do things that leave breadcrumbs that you're going to have to look over your shoulder continuously to ensure that they never come back.
And here's the thing. If for whatever reason, right, you absolutely have to gossip, okay? If you just can't help it and it just comes out, be willing to back up your words and say to the face of the person you're gossiping about. That's one thing I can't stand. If someone gossips about me, I honestly don't care too much. I don't. But, if I confront them about it, just be like, I don't really care, but, hey, are you saying these things about me? And then you lie about it. That's an entire another ball game.
I have so much respect for people that would absolutely say it to my face.
Yeah.
Because, we all have our flaws, right? And sometimes my flaws are more annoying to a specific person. So when I confront them about it and they're like, yeah, dude, you're annoying.
Yeah.
I have so much respect for those people. So if you're going to say it behind their back, you better have the balls to say it in their face.
Yeah. And then another thing with gossip is you didn't really mention it, but you kind of touched it, is basically just peer pressure.
Yeah.
Like very rarely does someone in themselves individually start rumors. Now, I know there are people like that, but generally the fastest, easiest, and most common way that people start gossiping is because of, again, one source of aggravation, and everybody just jumps on the train. It's kind of everybody's talking about this person. I want to throw in my 2 cents.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't feel the peer pressure to do that. You should be okay. You don't need to fit in. It's okay to stand out, not in an obnoxious way, of course, but it's okay to stand out and stand apart.
Like, you know those people that never gossip? They never get in trouble for anything.
No.
Like, they're just always there. They do their job. They clock in, they clock out, and everybody likes them. It's always the people that have to constantly state their opinion on everything, which was me in my early years, that are really annoying, and they're always either gossiping or being gossiped about. Right? It took me so long to be okay with not having to state my opinion. Right? And so that's the foundation of not gossiping, is to not care that they disagree with you, or you don't need to state your opinion.
Yeah.
I think that's the foundation of it all, guys, is just to remember your opinion probably won't change their opinion, and it's okay. Right? You don't have to debate everybody about everything.
It's tempting. It's very tempting.
It's very tempting.
Especially, with the current events that are going on out there. Like, I have so many things to say, but at the end of the day, I just bite my tongue, especially when they're gossip or rumors that stem from emotion. You can use statistics, you can use logic, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Unless you know it's someone who's coming to you that's willing to actually debate and, give and take and kind of understand each side from more of a philosophical standpoint, there's no point in arguing with anybody because it's not going to change their mind. People are set, in their predetermined beliefs, and it's not going to do anything. If someone's willingly coming up and asking you a question, they want a legitimate answer, that's one thing. But for the most part, you can't change their mind.
No, and I think that's very difficult in today's generation. Like, the moment someone gets very emotional at your response, you need to walk away. Like, regardless of what your opinion is, if it goes with the majority or it doesn't, it's not worth saying your opinion nowadays. It's just not.
Mm-hmm.
And so protect yourself, protect your job by not gossiping. It's just not worth it. For example, if someone has different political beliefs than you and you absolutely can't understand why they believe what they do, and you just want to insult them all the time in front, it will get back to you. It will be reported to management, and you will probably lose your job. So gossiping in that way it's stupidity at this point, right? You don't need to state your opinion. Your opinion might be grounded in facts. It doesn't matter. Regardless of what you know about the topic, how educated you are, your opinion is not worth you losing your job, especially if you have a family to provide for. That is a very selfish thing if you put your opinion over your family.
I completely agree. And I think with that, we're kind of reaching the end a bit here.
Yeah, so just protect yourself. I think that's when it comes down to, do you want the reputation of someone who's constantly gossiping about people, or do you want the reputation of someone who's unbiased, just puts their head down, works, clocks in, clocks out, does their job well, and leaves?
And don't just protect yourself, but protect others. If you see others gossiping, be like, hey guys, and this goes back to the whole, you can't totally change their opinion, but you can always walk away and you could be like, I don't think this is right. Try to protect the others around you as well. Because like I said earlier, gossiping is just ultimately meant to destroy and bring people down. You really want to be lifting people up so we could all grow together as a community, as in a civilization. So with that being said, just don't gossip.
Be a
Walk
fair
away.
person. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Just follow that golden rule. It's not that hard, right? But anyway, guys, as we close this one out, again, we're college students. We'd appreciate any support that you guys can provide on Patreon. The link will be down in the description. Our Instagram as well. Shoot us a DM on there, and we will see you guys
In the next episode.